This video will show you a powerful exercise that you can apply in your life right now that's going to allow you to feel 100% whole and complete and know that you can love yourself. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, what I want to do is share with you an exercise that I think you guys can apply into really knowing that you can give yourself permission to love yourself. Now it's kind of a funny idea, but why is loving ourselves so important? Well, it comes down to understanding that we always get a reflection in life in who we are being and how we are feeling. And if we are feeling lack, or if we are feeling like we're not enough, we will go out into our daily life and we will constantly get reflections of that feeling. And if we feel the feeling of lack or incompleteness, we will constantly get that reflection in our life. And people will literally feel that off of us and respond to us in that way, even if it's at subconscious levels. And the idea is, even if we, find a relationship and we find somebody that we resonate with, if we feel not whole and complete, we'll be constantly giving them a job, to do a job of making us feel whole and complete when it's something they can never really do. At least they can never really do it for long term. They might be able to kind of give us, some way of like distracting ourselves from that self-love. But in order for us to really feel that and really get a reflection in our life of people loving us at a deep level, we must first love ourselves at a deep level. So this goes beyond just the law of attraction. This goes beyond just, getting what we want in our lives. It's also about understanding that we will feel more fulfilled when we start to view ourselves in a new way and when we start to really get to the core of who we are. Anytime we have beliefs that we're not enough, anytime we have these thoughts and we think that, this is not who we are, we think that we are kind of like trying to be somebody else or trying to fit within someone else's frame, it's like layers of an onion that are wrapping around us, and it's not really who we are. So what we must do is not necessarily get a new perspective or pile on new information. It's more of just undoing the conditioning, undoing those layers so that we actually love ourselves more. Now, underneath these layers is a knowing, is a feeling of excitement, is a feeling that we are already whole and complete. And we grow up with the conditioning believing that, hey, Disney movies, for example, we watch all these Disney movies of these people that are kind of miserable a lot of times, and then what they do is they go through all this trial and error, they meet somebody, and then at the end they live happily ever after. And in a way that conditions us because we watch that at such a young age, and we believe that if we're able to find that same type of person, we too can live happily ever after. Well, I want to encourage you to know that you can give yourself permission right now to live happily ever after, because happiness is really a choice, it's a perspective, it's the awareness that that's your natural state of being. Now, the power of this exercise is going to wire in this understanding that you are already whole and complete, that you can have this way of looking at yourself, and that as you do that, you will feel completely different about yourself. And that's the intention with this video, is that by the end of it, you have something you can always come back to really remind yourself that you are whole and complete, you are enough, and by looking at yourself in a new way, you will start to feel differently about who you are. Now, what I did in this exercise is I added in a NLP technique. Now, NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It sounds like a fancy word. It's just simply a science or a way of optimizing our brain to feel differently about who we are and the way that we view ourselves. Now, normally we view ourselves as not whole and complete. We view ourselves as somebody that needs validation from other people. There's so many layers of social conditioning that have gone into that. But what I do in this exercise is I allow us to really pry back those layers that we've put around us of believing that, all of these things need to be true in order for us to give ourselves validation or to feel a certain way. And what we do is we go through a quick visualization exercise that starts to really spin within us. And I use the word spin because it uses a spinning type visualization in order to spin the feeling through us of feeling already 100% whole and complete. It allows us to really feel that, to amplify that feeling, and to really start to remember positive memories that we have of ourselves, of things that we've done well in the past. Because when it comes to memories, realize that a lot of our memories have momentum to it. So if we constantly, every time we approach someone maybe we're attracted to, this was me for years because I had this memory of somebody that I went up to when I was 12 years old. I went up to an 18-year-old and I asked her if she would dance with me, at this like Parks and Rec places here in Vegas that I went to on summer camp. And when I asked her that, she kind of laughed and then brought over someone that was also 12 years old. Now when that happened, I would always think of that rejection, and anytime I would approach a girl, or I would, you know, kind of like put myself out there, if I would feel rejected, it would constantly go back to that memory. Or even before I would approach someone, it would constantly go back to that memory. So that memory developed gravity because of my focus on it. So this exercise is something that can really allow you to let go of the momentum of certain memories and to remember times that you've succeeded before. Because as you do that, and as you recall times you've succeeded before, those memories start to develop new momentum that you can use as fuel towards remembering that you've done things before, you've been successful before, and all you have to do is remember it and use that as a signpost for you to feel the same emotion. So this is the exercise right now. At like 6 minutes in, we're gonna do this. I'm going to cue the music right now, and what we're gonna do is I'd like to ask you to first off take a couple deep breaths in and deep breaths out with me. So first off, let's take a deep breath in. And then breathe it out, and then we're going to take one more deep breath in and out through our diaphragm. So one more breath. So now what I'd like to ask you to do is to first off pay attention to the sensation in your hands. Feel the sensation in your chest. Feel the sensation in your left leg and foot, and your right leg and foot. And what we're doing right now is we are bringing the awareness out from being inside our head majority and starting to be more inside of our body. So we're becoming much more present to the moment. Now the next thing we're going to do, and what I'm going to ask you to do, is to first off remember a time in the past of when you did something and you did it very successfully. Maybe it was you pushed yourself to do something that you were kind of afraid of, and you did it, and then you were happy you did it. Maybe it's something that you accomplished when you were either in school or something you accomplished with your job. Whatever it is, just remember and recall that memory. So I'm going to take another deep breath in and out right now, and you can follow along and then also remember what that is. And breathe out. Now what I'd like to ask you to do is to remember in that moment the different senses that you felt. Remember when you were in that moment what it felt like to be in that moment. Maybe you remember you were looking at someone else in that memory. You remember that it felt a certain way, it was a certain temperature outside. Whatever it is, bring your attention into the thoughts that you were having in that moment, into the feeling that you had about who you are, into the self-image that you have. And what I'd like to ask you to do is to feel as if that is happening right now. Feel and remember what that feeling was like. And now what I'd like to ask you to do is to feel within your center of your chest, feel within your heart, and imagine a ball of energy that is spinning, and it spins faster and faster. And the faster it spins, the more you feel this emotion, the more you feel the same feeling that you had when you were in that memory and you had that experience. Remember it and feel the emotion of how you felt. Feel the love that you felt for yourself. Feel the acceptance that you had, the validation that you were getting yourself. And what you can do is start to feel that and imagine that ball spinning faster and faster. Imagine that memory getting brighter and brighter. And what you do now is you know that that feeling you feel is something that you can always bring yourself back to. It's something that exists within you. It's not an external circumstance that will bring that feeling to you. It's something that exists within you right now. Now what I'd like to ask you to do is start to remember this feeling, to start to remember it once a day, even if it's for a minute or two, and start to remember what it felt like to feel that self-love for yourself, to feel that awareness of who you are, to have that self-image, and start to remember that this feeling is who you naturally are. You are whole and complete, and all you have to do is remember that. use this memory as an anchor to anchor in that feeling, and know that what you can do is spin that ball of energy in your heart faster and faster. And as you do that, you let the visualization you have get brighter and brighter. Let the sounds get louder and louder. And what you do is you make that visualization much more real for you. As you spin it, you feel more and more emotion, and you're able to go forth with the knowing that that is who you are. You are whole and complete. All you have to do is recognize it and view yourself with those positive associations, with those positive memories, and knowing that that is how you prefer to be. So let this memory carry you. Let this memory be something that anchors you into that self-love that you have for yourself. And from this point going forward, know you are forever changed. Know that you can give yourself the ability to feel that validation from within. And as you go throughout your day, go forth with that understanding and with that awareness. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, namaste.